Royal Mail launches Mythical Creatures stamp collection. Royal Mail has unveiled a set of stamps featuring mythical creatures and fabled figures from UK folklore. Designed by London-based artist Adam Simpson, the illustrations include the Loch Ness Monster, Cornish Piskies, and Beowulf and Grendel. The set of 8 stamps and the stories each represents from different regions across the UK demonstrate our rich mythological heritage, Simpson said. They are available to pre-order from Thursday and go on sale on the 27th of March. I guess the one that's more concerning to cryptozoologists is the Nessie stamp, as you can see right here. But there's these other folklorish and, well, I guess more folklorish figures. Not necessarily cryptozoological, except for the Loch Ness Monster. Pretty cool development, though, even though Nessie is considered mythical. Very interesting to see a stamp devoted to a cryptozoological creature, or a cryptid. Here's a book review of Jeff Meldrum's Sasquatch Legend Meets Science by 4 noted skeptics, one of whom has passed away. The Nonsense and Non-Science of Sasquatch. Obviously, it takes a more skeptical tack on the subject. And I don't have an issue with skepticism as long as it's grounded in realism and grounded in actual, genuine, sincere scientific inquiry and not just cynicism. I don't know if this particular review falls under the purview of cynicism or not. But it's interesting that this review, this is from about 17 or 18 years ago. I think this was written shortly thereafter the book's release in September of 2006. Yeah, I guess our only hope as cryptozoologists is that the skeptics are not coming from a position of cynicism, they're coming from a position of genuine scientific inquiry. Unfortunately, a lot of skeptics fall into that cynical category, where they just absolutely deny any claims that Sasquatch could be real. And they do it in such a dismissive way. Hopefully these 4 have not fallen into that category. But time will tell. Bigfoot captured in annual Montana hunt. Hundreds of people gathered in a 10-acre patch of woods near Ellison, Montana this past weekend to participate in the 22nd annual hunt for Bigfoot, the legendary woodland ape, also known as Sasquatch. Hundreds of people gathered in a 10-acre patch of woods near Ellison, Montana this past weekend to participate in the 22nd annual hunt for Bigfoot. Did I just read that? This year the bounty was $150, armed with flashlights, whistles, and beer. Beer? See, that's just a recipe for disaster. 327 quote-unquote hunters trudged through snow for an hour and 20 minutes, the longest search in the history of the event, before someone finally blew their whistle announcing that Bigfoot had been captured. Kathleen Dobson, A member of the National Guard in nearby Helena was this year's victor. She found Bigfoot. That is, John Pesky, a 6'2" high school orchestra teacher dressed in a Bigfoot costume, nestled in a willow thicket at the back of the property. Now, I'll tell you one thing. If it was this easy to find and capture a Sasquatch, it would have been done a long time ago. But we know it's not that easy. And this is only a 10-acre patch of woods. Imagine searching an entire territory full of forest and mountains, or at least forest, and not to mention swamps. There are swamps that these creatures live in as well. So, I mean, it's an interesting idea. I don't have any issue with the idea of having a Bigfoot hunt, quote unquote. But like I said, it's going to be a lot harder to capture a real one than it would be to catch a guy in a suit. And that's for darn sure. Among the believers, what if Bigfoot were British? Since the 1960s, people have been hopelessly searching for the mythical creature known as Bigfoot. Most cryptozoologists would place him in the forested expanses of the Pacific Northwest of America, perhaps even the Himalayas. We joined up with a group of people who think he may be wandering around a little closer to home. And people swear that there are Sasquatch-type entities in the UK. I personally don't believe that, but there are those who swear they're there. Those who swear they've seen them and found the evidence of them. Evidence mainly of footprints, sometimes only one footprint. I mean, how ridiculous is that? You only find one footprint? Give me a break. There obviously should be more footprints than that. There should be a long trackway instead of just one footprint. But this article apparently is giving I don't know if it's giving full credibility to the possibility of Sasquatch type creatures in the UK. Although you do have the strange big grey man of Ben McDewey in Scotland, which may be more of a supernatural creature than anything else. It's supposed to be taller than Sasquatch are reported to be anyway. I don't know. I don't personally think there are any kind of hairy bipeds walking around in the UK. It's just too heavily populated. There's not enough forest area either. At least I don't think there is. Now, I could be wrong. I really don't think I am, though. Now we have this Jonathan Downs who claims he has seen them. Is he sure it wasn't a bear that he saw? And we have this young man, Daniel Barnett, who has made headlines in the cryptid world for dropping out of school to hook up with Bigfoot researchers, especially here in the United States. Now, there are those who say, well, he has some kind of, what is it? I think it's not ADHD. He may be ADHD. I don't know. What is it? What's the disease I'm thinking about? Not Munchausen. No, it's not that. I am trying to think what he's supposed to have. Autism. I had a brain fart there for a second. I couldn't think of it. Autism. Supposedly he has autism. And autism can cause a young man and individuals. I don't know. I don't have autism. I have no idea what autism is. I have a vague idea of it. But I mean, I'm trying to be as kind as possible. I don't know if autism causes you to believe very strongly in something. It may. I really don't know. But apparently this young man, Daniel Barnett, is a very strong believer that there are hairy bipeds in the UK. And he seems to be getting a lot of praise from a lot of Bigfooters. To me, the jury is still out on Daniel Barnett. I'm trying to tread carefully here. I don't want to offend the young man. I really don't know if he has autism or not. I don't know the young man. I can't say one way or the other if he has autism or not. But it seems like there's been a bit of controversy surrounding this young man. And obviously, Jonathan Downes is one of the more prominent British cryptozoologists, along with, of course, Richard Freeman as well. And they swear there are hairy bipeds in England, in the UK. But what is the gray man, the big gray man of Beg McDewey? Is it a large hairy biped? Or is it something else? Is it more supernatural? I mean, what exactly is it? I know Nick Redfern has written extensively about the British Bigfoot and believes they're more supernatural than anything else. And that's the reason why you don't find them or you don't see them very often. Because they're supernatural and you can't find them. Because obviously, as my father believes, they go in and out of dimensions. I'm not so necessarily so sure I agree with that, but that's what some people believe. And they're entitled to that belief. I don't have to necessarily agree with it, but people are entitled to believe whatever they want. It's a free country. But I can't say that there are hairy hominids or hairy hominoids and hairy bipeds in the UK. Although I personally don't think there are. I may be wrong, but that's just my personal opinion. Until something comes along to change it, well, that's my opinion. Pre-orders are now taking place for the 2025 Ohio Bigfoot Conference t-shirt. Here's the design on the front. It says back design coming soon, includes speakers. Pretty neat looking design. I have already ordered my shirt from this to pick up at the conference. The pre-orders end this upcoming Monday, the 31st of March, at noon Eastern, which would be 11 a.m. Central Time. It does say if you request shipping, your shirt should be sent out by April 25th. I don't know. I don't quite trust the Postal Service. I suppose that they may get the shirt to you in time, but I opted to pick up the shirt at the conference instead of having it delivered to my post office box. But that's just me. That's what I decided to do. And however you decide to order your OBC t-shirt, whether you're going to the OBC or not, well, that's up to you. Now, a couple of years ago, I did order an OBC t-shirt, even though I couldn't go to the conference that year. I decided, what the heck? Well, I did the same thing back in 2017. I couldn't go to that conference because of a graduation, so I ordered the t-shirt anyway. And that was a commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Patterson-Gimlin film. And I still wear that shirt, by the way, because it's a cool shirt. But anyway, the shirts are available now for pre-order. But you better do it quick because they won't last long, I guarantee it. They may sell out before March 31st. Of course, then again, they may not, but you don't want to take that chance. So if you're going to order one, you better order it now, because supplies are limited. There's going to be another upcoming Loch Ness Monster search. It's going to be set for May of this year. Another sizable search for the Loch Ness Monster is set to be held at the famed Scottish site later this year. Organized by the Loch Ness Centre, Tourist Attraction, and Loch Ness Exploration L&E Research Group, the ambitious endeavor will reportedly unfold from May 22nd to the 25th. Dubbed The Quest, the forthcoming search is the third such effort from pairing after a rain-soaked event in 2023 and a more pleasant weekend in 2024. As in previous years, members of the public are being called upon to participate by keeping watch at the shore of the Loch Ness in the hopes of spotting the monster. Also contributing to the effort this year will be the company Little Loch Broom Marine Life, which will deploy remote operating vehicles into the waters of the Loch Ness to peer into the proverbial abyss. The highly advanced devices can descend to nearly half the depth of the loch while filming with high-resolution cameras. To be invited to dive our ROV and drop-down camera trap into the most famous loch in the world could not be passed up on. The representative for the company marveled. The possibility of capturing even a suggestion of Nessie is undoubtedly the most exciting opportunity ever. Additionally, researchers from Loch Ness Center plan to use their own baited camera traps placed at strategic spots around the monstrous body of water. Very fascinating. Now, they're going to have to go down pretty far, to be quite honest, because from what I understand, Loch Ness is pretty dang deep. It goes quite a few meters down. So hopefully those ROVs can handle, let's say, the pressure of being that far underwater. I certainly wouldn't want to try and dive that deep, that's for sure. I'm trying to think how deep Loch Ness actually is. So hang on. Sorry, I had to look it up. I had to look it up to see how deep Loch Ness actually is. 788 feet or 240 meters, the length of about 23 miles, 36 kilometers. Largest volume of fresh water in Great Britain. And yes, it is a lake. It's not, I don't know why I kept thinking it was a river. No, it's not a river. It's a lake. It's a big lake. Huge lake. 788 feet. Can those ROVs, those remote operating vehicles, dive that far down and not crack under the pressure? I mean, literally crack under the pressure. I suppose we're going to find out not too long, not in not too distant future. Well, actually, we'll find out the weekend of May 22nd through the 25th. And yes, I will update this story as developments occur. So stay tuned. Mystery creature photographed by Florida trail camera. A trail camera in Florida snapped a puzzling picture of a mysterious creature that has stumped wildlife experts. The peculiar photo, seen below, was reportedly posted on social media by the South Florida Wildlands Association last Friday evening. Explaining that they had received the image from an individual hoping to identify the curious critter, they indicated that the picture was captured on a trail cam on public lands in the southwest part of the state. Asking for their followers' theories on what the creature could be, the group mused that it looks a little bit wrong and a little bit right for a number of different species. Now this is the picture in question. Chupacabra, or the way Chupacabra have been described as more like mangy dogs or mangy coyotes. It looks a bit like a cat almost. Now, they initially suspected that the animal was simply a feral cat. They said that explanation was unlikely since the location is fire with predators that would have likely already feasted on it. It has a particular muzzle as well, which cats don't seem to have. So it appears we have a genuine mystery here in the Sunshine State. And if you guys can tell me exactly what this is, I'll move the cursor out of the way so you can see the picture unobscured. If you guys have any theories as to what this is, let me know in the comments below. I'll tell you this much, I don't know what it is. It appears to be some kind of a cat, but with a muzzle like it has, that would seem to be negated. That it wouldn't be a cat after all. Cats really don't have muzzles. They have somewhat shorter mouths. In other words, their mouth and nose do not stick out really far. Not like a dog. Now, could it be a dog of some sort? It's really hard to determine that one way or the other. But if there are predators in that area, then wouldn't dogs also be in danger of being feasted upon? Unless they're wild dogs, but even then wouldn't they still be in danger of being feasted upon? To quote Alice in Wonderland, curiouser and curiouser. Bigfoot in native lore, real or myth? Anthropologist Dr. Grover Krantz weighs in search of Bigfoot. A new video has been making the rounds in the Bigfoot community, and I couldn't wait to share it with our readers. The video, titled In Search of Bigfoot and posted by the YouTube channel Sicktanic, takes us on a journey through the history of Bigfoot sightings and the ongoing search for this elusive creature. The video begins by exploring the legend of Sasquatch, a giant hairy creature that has been seen many times in the rugged mountains and deep woods of the Pacific Northwest. The story of the miners in Ape Canyon who were attacked by large hairy apes in 1924 is particularly chilling. The video also touches on the idea that some people feel the need to kill Bigfoot in order to prove his existence, which is a sad but true reality. The video then delves into the theory that Bigfoot could be a giant hominid related to but not like modern man. Dr. Grover Krantz, an anthropologist at Washington State University, shares his belief that Bigfoot falls somewhere in the progressive chart of man as the missing link between ape and human. The most convincing visual evidence of Bigfoot, according to Dr. Grover Krantz, is the film taken by Roger Patterson in Northern California, which he believes to be authentic. Now, this particular video is actually the classic In Search Of episode of Bigfoot, which featured the late Dr. Grover Krantz being clean shaven at that time, and the late Peter Byrne as well. And yes, it does examine the ever controversial kill or no kill, what's the word I'm looking for? It does feature the ever controversial kill or no kill debate. That's the word I'm looking for. So, it's probably one of my favorite episodes of television from the 1970s. I mean, it's a classic. It's hosted by Leonard Nimoy, Mr. Spock himself. So, of course, I will include the link to this down below in the description, so you guys can check it out. Finally, I'm releasing this video a day early where I usually release it, because tomorrow is my birthday. I'll be the big 5'5", 55. Wow. I've really been around this long. I'm just constantly amazed that I've been around this long. Of course, I know there's people that are older than me, but still, I just have to reflect on. It's been nearly 50 years since I got interested in cryptozoology, and of course, Sasquatch in particular. So, mazel tov to all of you out there who are putting boots on the ground looking for these creatures. And I admire the heck out of people who are getting out there and actually doing the necessary field work and actually searching for these cryptids. You guys are to be commended. At least I think you should be. I know I'm more of a bit of an armchair researcher, but I feel my work is just as important as anybody else's. I'm not going to say that my work is more important. I think it's just as important, however. And like I said, mazel tov. And that's going to do it for this week. We want to thank you very much for tuning in. You guys are the heart of the show. I always say that, but I always mean it. And I will continue to do this so you guys want me to. And for 10 years now, I've been doing this, an entire decade, this video podcast. And I'm just constantly amazed at all the great feedback I get from you guys, especially from Chris Bennett. Kentucky Fried Fixes, who at least tries to leave a comment every once in a while on my videos. So I'm deeply appreciative of what. Oh, speaking of which, he did leave a comment for my show last week, where you may remember I discussed a supposed vocalization from a supposed hairy biped in, I think it was Argentina, or it was in South America. Well, he confirmed that it was actually a sound clip from a documentary about the Honey Island swamp monster. So that solves that little mystery. So obviously that was a hoax. It wasn't a misidentification, it was a hoax. So thanks, Chris. Really appreciate it. And for the rest of you, you guys, y'all be good at this HBM's Cryptid-Corner.